wonderfully well. So, more on that later. Let's have a look at Cheyenne Petit of France on floor. 12.833 in qualification. Gymnast from the Côte d'Azur performed well on floor at the top 12 championships last month in France. Has had a limited opportunity, but a recent opportunity to perform on this piece.
She is known for her polished gymnastics, and she's been quite reliable of late for the French team. The double tuck, just very secure.
Victoria Listonova, the 15-year-old.
Anticipated that it might be a battle between the two Russians. And Listonova is keeping up her end of the bargain, isn't she?
Most certainly. It's 12.666 for Cheyenne Petit on floor. She's down just by a couple of tenths from qualification. We look at Kim Bui of Germany on the floor exercise. Now, she scored 13.333 for this in qualification. She was the 15th strongest qualifier overall. Sometimes when we talk about veteran athletes, we use language like still out there competing. We talk about how fantastic it is at their age, they're still doing that. That's the wrong language for Kim Bui. Kim Bui at 32 is the best Kim Bui that perhaps we've ever seen.
And look at that double layout opening pass. Completely agreed. She is 32 years old, and she has gotten better as she has gotten older. Double pike there. And what you are seeing is the fruits of experience in that routine.
14.333 for Listonova. She gains a precious 10th plus from her qualification performance. She might well need it, because here comes some big work from Angelina Melnikova. 14.625 in qualification. Top qualifier, the current leader.
Opens with a great sequence of in-bar stalders. Those are very difficult. And there again, in-bar to blind, right to a pike Jaeger, and off she comes.
And now the narrative for the competition has changed somewhat.
Well, we were a little bit worried about Melnikova on balance beam. If she has a weak event, it's generally the balance beam. On uneven bars, even if she has little problems, she's been able to deal with them. We've seen that in previous competitions. To see her come off like this, that's a surprise.
And we must temper all of our observations with the memory that this has been anything other than a typical preparation for these championships and for this year. Unusual things are going to happen in unusual times.
Yes, indeed they are. And it looks like she was just a little bit too forward, perhaps let go of the bar half a second too late, and isn't able to get her hands around it the way that she wants. Really nice recovery with this combination into full twisting double tuck.
Now, just an interesting number to bring you here is that Jessica Gadirova has posted a 13.5 on the balance beam, which is up by 2.1 from her qualification performance. That's a very interesting number to take stock of when we look at her as the 8th best performer in qualification, because the balance beam was the difficulty. Now, Barbara Mokashova.
Very nice Yurchenko full. Maybe a little bit piked in the body position. And of course, this carries a start score of just 4.6 on vault, unlike the other events where you do various elements and they add them up, and that's your difficulty score. You get one vault and it's got a predetermined start score, and 4.6 is the tariff for this one. So unlikely to be a huge score for Barbara Mokashova, but at the same time, there wasn't really anything wrong with it either. Just a little bit of piking on the afterflight there.
The only European Championship she missed was the 2019 one in Szczecin. She didn't enjoy missing it. She came back to win a massive medal for her, the uneven bars bronze in Mersin. So we look at Maisa Kursiko on floor. She started with a 12.5 on the balance beam. 11.7 for this in qualification. Room to move up here. Well, anything that's to the orchestration of Rachmaninoff's Rhapsody on a Theme from Paganini has got to be okay, hasn't it? One of the great bits of classical music, and we've rhapsodized about the Finnish team and how they're improving.
And we have, and you see it here as well. She has a little bit of a landing on her toes on that double tuck, but the highlight of that, the first pass, the double layout, bang on.
13.266, the number for Mokashova. She's gained 0.3 from qualification. Now we'll take stock of Angelina Melnikova's score in a minute. Kim Bui has scored 13.033, so she is down by 0.3 from her performance in qualification. Gymnast who was the 15th best performer in the qualification process. So the number is in for Melnikova. It's 13.733. She's down by almost a mark from qualifying. Bear in mind that at the Russian Championships, she gained a mark on balance beam from the number she posted here. So it's not over yet. So this is Lihi Hradz of Israel.
And she too carries in Yurchenko full. Like Makashova, very decent body position in the air, just a little bit piked. And something that's going to give her a 4.6 difficulty score. Interesting angle to see from, because you see that she is actually off to the side as she does her round off onto the springboard. And alignment is key on vault. They want to stay as centered as possible.
Virtually the same as qualification, just down by a third of a tenth. Lihi Hradz was the vault champion at the 2017 Maccabia Games. Now we turn our attentions to the floor exercise and the work of the Swedish gymnast Tonja Paulsson. Youth Olympic Games bronze medalist from 2018 in the mixed team competition, representing Team Oksana Chusovitna. Senior international debutant Tonja Paulsson. She is the reigning national champion on the floor exercise. Now, just before we have a look at Emily Morgan, to let you know that Elizabeth Seitz gained almost a full mark on balance beam from qualification. 12.933 her score. Let's have a look now at Emily Morgan, almost 14 for this in qualification.
Very clean, steady work. There, the reaching of the pack salto. The Maloney transition, and again, right to a lovely full twisting pack salto, named for a terrific American gymnast, Mohini Bhardwaj. Very secure work. And an interesting dismount, the toe-on front half. Not as difficult as some, but something that will get her off of the bars very cleanly.
Clean the word. Nicely put together routine in the Bhardwaj particularly. It just seemed, I mean, we're watching this routine in slow motion. It felt like we were watching the Bhardwaj in slow motion in the first place. So gently and dexterously did she float through the air. It was well executed.
It did, and she doesn't rush her elements. She doesn't get ahead of herself. She takes one thing at a time, and the result is that you get gymnastics that looks like this.
When you speak to Emily Morgan, you speak to a calm person. When you watch Emily Morgan, you watch a calm gymnast. 17-year-old managed to pick up a little bit there, just a couple of tenths for her. Elina Virova of Latvia now competing on the floor. Well, again, the limited opportunity for so many of the... Gymnast 2 was part of the team that won the gold medal in 2020 at the end of last year. What an emotional moment that was for the Ukraine team, the reaction when they got confirmation of that gold. And she has long been a well-known competitor on the floor exercise.
This is one of her showpiece events. She became a senior in 2019 and has really dazzled us on floor exercise ever since. Very secure tumbling, excellent technique, very good landings. This is a new routine for her since last year. For several years she did a tango routine. It was one of the fan favorites.
The routine that won her the European Games title. 13.733, confirmation of the score for Amelie Morgan on the uneven bars. Now let's just do a little housekeeping for some of the other numbers in that group, as Verkest's 13.5 comes in on the balance beam. If this were balance beam qualification, I know it's not, but if it were, that would have been the strongest mark.
Well, what we are seeing from her so far is the emergence of a very powerful new talent for the Belgian team. Very good to see.
Up 3 marks from her score in qualification. Hello to Jutta Verkest on the senior stage. Now Martina Maggio scored 11.8 on the uneven bars, which is a problematic number in terms of her medal contention. Naomi Fisser scored 13, so she's up by just over a mark. Elena Virova's mark on the floor comes in of 0.933. So down by almost a mark and a half from the score that she received in qualification. We should be in a position in just a short while to give you the halfway standings in this women's all-around final. And things have got most interesting and compact. We'll bring you those in just a moment. We are beginning to see daylight on the scoreboard. It's changed at the top. Listanova leads the way. Melnikova is in second place, and it's still a good second place, and it's still not a big gap at all. Felipe Martins has dropped down the order to 13th. She had a tough time on the balance beam, 11.566 for her. Just to go back up the scoreboard, I know that we're not looking at it right now, but Amelie Morgan's in third position. Now then, there's a group of 3 gymnasts who are all within half the mark of each other, Morgan, Seitz and Gadirova. Then Naomi Fisser, who was the 31st qualifier, is now in 6th position. So all of that, Blythe, tells us that we have no idea what's going on.
Pretty much, but what we do have to say for Angelina Melnikova and her chances, she currently trails her teammate Victoria Listunova by only 0.3 of a point. And what she's done for herself is she hasn't taken herself out of the running. She has just put more pressure on herself to really do well on balance beam. And as we said before, if there's one event that's a bit nervy for Melnikova, balance beam is it.
She's up first. Listunova is last. I'll leave you at home to decide where you would rather be. If you're a gymnast, I'm sure you've got your own views about that. Would you rather be the trailing gymnast who goes first, or would you rather be the trailing gymnast who goes last? I'm not suggesting there's a right or wrong answer to that, really. It's down to personal preference. But what we do know is that Listunova will have an idea of what the competition around her is looking like by the time she takes to the balance beam. Angelina Melnikova.